Folks, we're going to continue our Spelljammer art production for the Spelljammer Combat and Exploration book that we're going to publish on the DMsGuild as soon as it's done. Give me a second here on the backstage for me to check my signal. Sounds good. All right, cool. Hey, if you guys follow me on Twitter, I've attempted to post that I'm live on Twitter. Hold on. Let's try that again. You don't know what I'm laughing at. I'm not letting you see behind the scenes. There we go. There. Bam. Up and running. And double check my stuff here real quick. Cool. That works. All right, great. So yeah, Twitter's up and running. You can follow me at Twitter at Phil Kearney. And give me a moment here for me to punch some signals on Discord, the Spelljammer team, and hold on. Beep, beep, burp. Cool. And Industry Boys Designosphere. I'm just going to kick through these guys real quick. But if this is the first time you're swinging by, I make mechanic supplements for 5e games. There's a link down below that takes you to the DM Guild because I use the Magic the Gathering IP to create a 5-color mana system that you can use in the Ravnica, Theros, Strixhaven, or any other Magic the Gathering setting that you come up with. And you can check out all those books. They're 100% free to view. You can read them cover to cover. If you find that you think they're cool, you want to use them, or if you like some of the ideas in there, please buy them. That way you can support me and the artwork that we produce. So all the artwork in those books is also mine, and of course you can read them cover to cover. So there's a ton of art. There's like 80 some odd illustrations that we made in there. So it's a fun piece. And so we're going to continue with asset production here on the Spelljammer Combat and Exploration book. We built this, I think, back like around episode 22, 23, something like that. So you can go check that out in the Spelljammer playlist. And let's see, we got a right, so this is a scorpion ship that we had built. Scorpions are 80 feet long, so these are 50-foot squares. The combat system that we have scales from 5 feet for characters on deck, 50 feet for ships engaged in close combat like grappling and stuff like that, as well as the little fighter ships that we have that are anywhere from 10 to 50 feet in size. They each sit inside of one of these 50-foot squares. So if your team just jumps off your ship and lands on a rocket cycle and decides to take off, you'll be using this 50-foot scale to fly around in, kind of like a pixie would fly around a dungeon map at the 5-foot scale. The icon still fills the space, even though they're smaller. But this is a scorpion ship, which fills up a 2x2. It's a large vessel that fills up a 100-foot by 100-foot space. It has 2 siege weapons, and we're just generically calling a ballista a siege weapon, which could be a ballista, it could be a catapult, a mangonel, it could be an arcane cannon, it could, if it was a larger space, a 3x3 space, it could be a trebuchet. And then you've got grappling weapons. So we probably should make some icons for grappling weapons, because there's a couple different ships that have grappling options that we're depicting here, and having little icons that indicate where the weapon systems are on ship sounds like a pretty useful idea. So maybe we'll come up with maybe we'll think of an icon at some point along the way. But we're going to continue kicking through. That's the scorpion that we built. That's the bombard that we created. We've been working on the damselfly, so let us continue our work on. We're using the color palettes from the adventure itself, so, or the book itself. So that is our reference document for the colors that we are choosing to use in this piece. So I'm going to. We have here's the black and white version, which of course is done. Damselflies are 100 feet long, so there you go. It fills the 2x2 space. There's hammer ships and squid ships get up to 250 feet long, so they fill the 5x5 space. Hold on, I'll show you the silhouette of the hammer ship here. Bam, hammer ship. It's got a, and then when we do the color version, obviously it'll have a big sail there. These things have sails, but they're heavily de-emphasized. I like increasing the size and presence of the sail because it helps demonstrate that these ships, you can't just stack these ships up one next to the next to the next, because if one of them has their gravity scuttled, then they all get their gravity scuttled, because you got a bunch of ships that are just careening like dominoes down the line. So you have to give them space to be able to maneuver around. That's why fighter ships are so cool, because the little fighter crafts can actually orbit, move around, and at the 5-foot scale can land on deck and just start stabbing people with, you know, giant harpoon spears and ballistas on its back, shooting arrows through the commander of the deck and all that fun stuff. So that's why you want a 50-foot scale, so you can have smaller ships assaulting the vessels that they're being launched from and orbiting around. And so yeah, you don't want to have so we have them being fat in their space. They fill up like a gargantuan creature fills a 4x4 square at the 5-foot scale. So it fills up all the space, even if it's just like a worm. You know, it's thin, but it's occupying the space. It's turning. We were talking about this past couple episodes, like horses. So you can go check out the previous the previous sessions of this to get up to speed on all the philosophy and mechanics that go into that kind of stuff. Squid ship. I haven't built the sails for that one yet, though. Yeah, man, these things are cool. So okay, great. So we're building these icons. There are other icons, ship tokens that are out there that people can pick up on the DMs Guild, as well as like Patreons and stuff like that. These are going to be included with the the supplement that we provide. It'll be in a zip file for people to grab, so you get all the tokens. And of course, you can. These are at the 50-foot scale, but we'll also have little 500-foot scales where they're significantly smaller. So like. Scale down. Like there's your 50-foot scale for the damselfly. So we'll have both the 500-foot scale, and you're inside 500-foot squares like a pixie. The damselfly is going to fill the space. So we'll have a single square token, and then we'll have the 50-foot scale token, so you can see how the ship occupies. And then we'll have like, you know, the little fighter ships that run alongside over here, like what is going on with my dealios? There we go. A little, come on, buddy. You know? Yeah, little skiffs like that big inside the space, so I can just flip here and land on your ship and start shooting people. Love that shit. Love that shit. So, hey man, how you doing? Let me scoot my text window over a bit. Token's looking slick. Thank you very kindly. Let me know if any of the colors look weird. I'm just literally grabbing colors off of the illustrations that they have in the book. So I figure just match the colors that they drew them with. So that's where all my reference points are coming from. And speaking of which, I need to go grab that wing color again here, and then here. Yeah. Cool. Oh wow, that's a neat. See how that's reversing like that? That's cool. I like that symmetry. Fuck, that's cool. Right on, my dudes. All right. I can. What can I? I can something. Hold on. Oh, that's right. I didn't merge these. I should just merge these. Duplicate the group, hide the lower group, merge the top group. There. Problem solved. Easy peasy. I think we'll be okay. Let's create... Oh yeah, we'll be fine. That looks great. Bloop, bloop. Let's go with... Let's go with... We want to create... You doing okay over here? There we go. Weird. Where? I got lost. There we go. Let's see. Huh. Okay. I'm looking at the pattern on the wings. Interesting. Okay, let's see what I can do. Oh boy, this will be a challenge. Well, wait. Yeah, that's a damn fly. Jesus Christ. Just the edges alone are going to be tough. Let's see, go down to probably 4 pixels. Oh, no, 2 pixels. Pen. I'm working with the curvature around inside the piece here, and we'll do a fade effect for the glossy translucency of the wings themselves. And I only have to do one of them because it's symmetrical. So give me a second there, turpentine. I'll do those on a separate layer. I just want to get these established. To the pixel. There's a link to Patreon down there. If you don't want to buy my books on DMsGuild, consider joining my Patreon for a month at the $10 level. Just give me $10 instead of giving Wizards my money. If that's what you would like to do. Like and subscribing is probably the best way we can support the channel right now. Let me build my audience up here so I can just start building things and hopefully have folks that are interested in getting them. Let's see what the process is that we got through to get there. I just hope when the thing publishes, other people get it. Like they look at it, they get what we're trying to do, and it's like that it helps their game. That would be freaking fantastic. Let's do that. Narf. There we go. Wait a second. Okay. Those down. So far so good. Another layer. Go with do like that. No, that's the wrong way to do. That feels more right. And because of the wing here, mark off of there, sorry. Yeah, that line that's there though, that is the edge, so you can't see further through under there until I add, yeah, actually there's a little bit more here you can see, like out to there. Yeah, so yeah, you got that curve there that you can't really see yet until we add in the lighting effects that we're going to use. So, and then we'll be able to just pick this up and roll it over there. So hopefully this turns out the way we expect it to. So give me another minute here. I'm going to merge down, and now we're going to. Okay, well that tells me this is off. And we can just do that. Super cheeky, super easy to do. And then when we put some shading on the translucent material on the wing, it'll add depth to the wing, which will then mix with that opacity, the frame that you can see through the opacity. So that's that's what we're going to do. That's how you do it. So I'm gonna get back to it. I just may as well leave the opacity down so you can see how it manifests. And again, we have to change this because we were off target, but now we get the correct course. Like that. Well, I can already tell that guy's off course. Just need a little bit more there. Perfect. 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 And I will delete this. There, so that's how it goes. So what we'll do next is make sure this is on the lower side. I'm going to hide that now that we know that it works. We're going to build the framing. So there is. I guess I'll do it this way. That's going to be I'll make a bucket here. So I can make the whole bucket 50%. Wrong bucket. Where's my bits? Show me my bits. Oh my god. Come on, Kearney. So that one goes in the bucket. Go in the bucket. Thank you. Yeah, you go in the bucket. There you go. Bucket. You belong in the bucket. Oh yeah, you guys do belong in the bucket. Okay, great. And that means we only have outside of the bucket this guy. That guy belongs out of the bucket, and he belongs to be on top. There we go. Now we got all these. There and there and yeah. There we go. Okay, everything's working as planned now. Thank you. There. Okay, good. And that, right. Now everything is truly under control. There we go. All right. Go over here like this. Wrong angle. Let's do like this. Oh, I've been missing text. Sorry, guys. I've been really focusing in on over here. What you got going on? Doing well. Currently working on concepting additional subsystems for my RPG. Excellent. Because the powers don't have enough diversity in their current form for me to customize them later. All right. Good move. So I'm working on making them more versatile mechanically and conceptually. The colors on the damage fine seem fine. Get the main body color a little darker, but not very much. Yeah, I'm fine with it being a little darker. That's cool. Thank you. I'll drop in the highlights, and hopefully that'll brighten it up. So that's the darkest I expected to go with. When I do it, I prefer to use the darkest color, the shading color as my base, and then because that lets me use the highlights for where I know the light is hitting, and then diffuse the light across the surface as the texture would allow, and then around the fringes where the if there's any surface curvature of the form, then I can do a darker gradient than the darker base color that we're going with. So I can drop the shadows a little bit more and spike the highlights if I need to, but the base will stay the same. So I'm basically working. Usually I'm working in a single I'm just moving values up and down on the same color array. I am aware that environmental lighting and reflections of objects near other surfaces can cause a color distortion in the shadow or the highlights that objects receive. But that is a level of color theory that I have to be careful with that crap because I can't see it. That's a level of, that's like, if I'm an expert right now in understanding color theory, that's like master level. Like, to be able to use it without being able to see it, I need more time. Luckily, God willing, I have it. Speaking of time, I'm going to set an alarm so I stay on point, because it is 7 o'clock now, and I am going till maybe about 8:30. So I know I'm doing a lot with these wings, and honestly, I don't know if the end result's going to be worth it. So, but we'll keep trying like fools. Don't mind me, I'm just lost in the moment. I'm gonna do that. On this layer. Nerf. 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 Nailed it. Cool. Like that. I don't know. Maybe it's just distracting, you know? Like, maybe all that pipe work just isn't necessary, like, at all, and I shouldn't include it. Maybe I shouldn't try to duplicate what exactly they're doing. I don't know. I don't know if it doesn't feel like it's adding to the form. Yeah, you know what? I don't think so. What do you think? I think I can afford to let that go. Maybe I can do a lighter frame, something that's more fillish. Let's try it my way. Let's see what we come up with. What's my way? Hit him with a rock. It's not very sportsmanlike. Yeah. Agreed, my friend. All right. Yeesh. Where's your line running to there, Kearney? That's just shit. It all went wrong right here, son. Ugh, it never got better. Yeah, we can at least salvage this one. Now, see, that's that. Near miss. There we go. I do like that. Yeah, that's good. That's good shit right there. There we go. I think I can get away with that. Now, let's go back and find trash. Nope. Okay, that feels better. Wings, top frame, bottom frame, verge down. This should be above this one, and this should be below this. So this is my color layer. Cool. And now I needed to do that because I have to come up here and check on this guy. How are we shading you, my wings? Highlight and not a good place. There we go. That's a good place. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Wow, that's blue. Oh, that's a good curve right there. Purpley. All right. We'll go with it. They got this purple theme going on. Let's do that and do that. Oh yeah, that is the highlight color I grabbed. How about that? Shut my door. That's grayish versus that purple. That's cool. All right. All right, all right. We're doing good. Ooh, this could be a job for highlights. Eh, it isn't. Thought it might be, but it's not. Definitely not a job for highlights. Let's just make a mess of it. Oops. Let's make a mess, and then we'll let our marching ants clean it up. Dark Sun is one of my favorite settings, and I was disappointed to see that they unloaded the Dark Sun content into the Spelljammer blocks, into the Spelljammer books, because that tells me that they're not actually moving. Like at some point, somewhere in R&D, they were trying to figure out how to make Dark Sun work, and they couldn't. Like they didn't want to commit to psionics, and they didn't want to step in the social mess that Dark Sun really is. I don't blame them for passing. It was just disappointing seeing it show up in Spelljammer like that. But it's also nice knowing at least they tried, you know? Or maybe they actually didn't try and they just dumped some random Dark Sun stuff in there so I would think they were trying. That's some conspiracy shit there, though. That path lies madness. Flip. Delete. Let's do a little bit more fade here with Eraser at what, 30%. Just trimming it up a bit. What's this one at? 63? Okay. Not a very popular number, but it's in the spectrum. Hey Phil, what's going on? Oh, hey Cody, what's going on, dude? How are you, my man? Just building the ship tokens here. There we go. That. Let's trim my wings, use my marching ants, select inverse, delete, bop. Perfect. How's our stack? Yeah, we're doing right. There. What else do we want? Do we need anything else? That looks pretty good on black. Looks pretty good on black. Actually, I need to take that back. take it back. I need to pick up and then move this over to this wing. So give me a hot second here. And then I can do all that monkeying around. Duplicate the group. Boop. Ooh. Doubling down like that ain't a bad idea. I think I need to darken along that edge down there, though. Yeah. I convinced myself just now. Here. Smudging like we don't care. Cool. Now we're good. Duplicate the group. Oh, I still kind of want that. Huh. Interesting. We'll probably double down on those things and then do some erasing fade. Let's do that, and then we'll go free transform equals flip horizontal. When I stack up layers like that, they get darker. The opacity, because I have these things like at 50% opacity right now in that whole in this whole folder stack over here. You can see it's well, it's not, but hold on. Let me find one that is. Damn it! Come on. 63. There we are. We were operating at 63% on those translucent layers. So now we're looking at this one. We use an eraser on it instead of a fade because I was an idiot. But I could double it. I could double on it, like duplicate that layer, and that one specifically gets darker, which is actually what I want. That's actually what I wanted. So I'm going to erase this one, and then. Yeah, that's what I wanted to get rid of. Thank you. Now I can duplicate that. So, duplicate the group, free transform, flip horizontal, enter, move tool, arrow key right, keeps the same vertical stack, and then I just make sure my shit's lined up. There, lined up. Wait. See, this one was slightly. What if I just fix that? And then what if I can just fix? Oh, yeah. No, I got that outside edge. No, it's easier to cut off the small part than the big part. So we'll cut it off. Bear. Cool. Nice wings. Pretty pleased. Pretty pleased. Oof, now I want to darken that edge too. Hosen. Let's go with boy oh boy, I tell you. How about here? That is a place. We can duplicate that, and then we can take our eraser and we can use 20% opacity and just shave it down a little bit. There, I can be content with that. Except if you saw me making the crystal wings for the Star Moth on the cover, like back around like episode 26 or something like that, you saw me using these same technique to make the Star Moth's translucent crystal wings work. And I figure this kind of has that same jive. The book that we have, the Combat and Exploration book, breaks up materials into light, composite, and heavy materials. Heavy material being like stone and metal. Light material being things like wood, crystal, ceramics, and then composite material being things like living plants that are a little bit more durable than just dead wood. As well as like an actual mix of metal and wood construction on your ship, as well as bone. So depending on what your ship is made out of, it's either light material, heavy material, or a composite material. And heavy material has a heavy armor class, but your stats don't modify it much. Light material doesn't have a lot of armor class or durability. The heavy one has a lot of damage thresholds as well. So high damage threshold, high armor class for heavy armor, but it doesn't have as much towing capacity because it's bulky and heavy, and your stats don't weigh into how maneuverable it is. It's a great strength and con save. It's great at pulling and doing using strength in a grappling test if it's higher than, because it's like +5, so like that's like a 20 strength. So metal has hoss to it, while like moderate's only +3, and wood at best you can get a +1. But like in dexterity, the light material is +5, but they're garbage for your constitution and your strength. So you have to rely on your dexterity to avoid grappling, as opposed to just flat out resisting it. But you're also really good at avoiding scuttling, but your armor class is crap because it's only like it's like 13 plus your dex or int. So you've got built-in durability with the heavy. You've got a lot of damage threshold, but you don't have a lot of towing capacity. There you go, and your stats don't weigh in a lot. And you get the light material, which is a lot more maneuverable, allows you to integrate your stats into it, and has a better towing capacity because the machine itself is so light. So it's a fun balance there. Like if you want like NPCs with tanky vehicles, you can give them heavy materials, make all their ships out of heavy materials. So if the team takes those ships, they aren't using their stats, their high level character stats, to make the ship awesome. Like a light frame ship doesn't have a lot of damage resistance for itself and doesn't have a lot of armor class, but it lets the character maximize their stats, which is why we see so many ships in the book that Wizards published having wood, light wood, or ceramic as their material. With my system, the characters can always use their stats, which are often going to be a better dexterity, but could be a good strength and constitution, or whatever stat it is that they're going to use for piloting works well. But the heavy material is just basically built-in durability. So if your characters do have shit stats, or like if you've got a wizard that's flying a ship separately, give the wizard a metal ship. The damselfly, I believe, is a metal ship. So anyway, that's quick diatribe there on philosophies behind the book that we have, and we're almost done with edits. We've finished the first pass of edits, and now all we're doing is having a few little suggestion boxes that are debating different wording on things that should probably be, I'm gonna guess, is gonna be resolved by this time next week. So there is a fair chance that I'll have an opportunity to start doing layouts on this in the beginning of February. It's terrifying and exciting at the same time. So we just want to make sure that we're happy with the text as it sits, and then I will pull down the playtest document that I had on Patreon, and we'll start the layout work with the actual finalized text, which you guys haven't had access to because I'm not allowed to duplicate the text of stuff that I have on the DMs Guild, and since it's going on the DMs Guild, give unto Caesar what is Caesar's. So, okay, great. So those wings look good. I'm happy with those. Let's do some highlights. So I'm just going to mark all these as, we'll just call that and that are wings. And that gives this some place to be. Bloop. I said this gives it some place to be. Thank you. Wrong part. There. And now we got flats. And now we're going into gradation. So let's check out the highlights. That's a highlight. Oh, is that a stripe? That's an actual colored stripe they have on their back? Fascinating. I think I can go with that though. Let's go with that and grab that. And that should be... this color should match this color. Almost exactly. Cool. Grab that color again. Bloop, bloop. Why do you be like you are? What? Again, I only have to color half of it. And I can just pick it up and duplicate it and flip it over. So I don't have to actually worry about symmetry at all in this process. All I gotta do is just make sure that I like the lighting. So this stuff is like, this token stuff is like easy compared to actually doing work. I mean, like actual illustrations. Who knows? Maybe if this whole I'm a 5e designer, maybe if that whole thing bellies up, I can just go back to get into token production and interior art stuff. I mean, Dean Spencer has like 30 years on me, but if people buy his stuff, they'll buy mine. Who knows? There we go. Nice. Man, I am just, God, I am so excited about this book. Huh, interesting. Hey, we've got a lot going on with this guy. What is going on with you, buddy? What kind of material is that supposed to be? Blue here. Is this supposed to be glass or something? It seems inconsistent. I'm having a hard time figuring out what that material is supposed to be. Huh. The front of this guy's face is different from the back. Yeah. Okay. Oh, it's just a change. So they changed the color on me. Okay. That's fine. That's fine. So that color is still good. Yeah, up to there, and then it transitions to whatever this is. Okay, still the same blue. That's cool, but the lighting on this changed. Unto Caesar, what is Caesar's? Yeah, we can be like that. If there's I feel like it should say, my cat is eating my shoes. I remember the exact recording sessions and stuff. I don't know if that's the exact recording sessions, man. I just can ballpark it. Like I can remember having to type in 20 something over and over again during that time frame. I don't know if that was specifically where it was, but I try to label them all. So I don't want to seem like, you know, like if I was really that good at remembering stuff, I wouldn't forget how to paint rocks and have to go back and self-reference in the videos to remember how the hell I did techniques, which is actually a super fun benefit I now realize for doing all this stuff on stream. It's like I've got a record of producing this stuff. So anyway, that's fun. I could just be wrong, you know. I'm a salesman. I'm good at bluffing. This is not my normal style of artwork at all. This pixel art stuff is kind of fun. I'm used to working at a much higher pixel count. I don't know why I chose to go with such a low poly for this project, at least for these tokens. I mean, the Space Shark Lancers was obviously like super over the top. But I think I mean for Roll20, I think these are pretty cool. What else you got? What you got? What you got? What you got? Nah? What you got? I'm almost done with this. Like, I'm running out of challenges, so that means it's time to move on to the next piece. So let me finish this up real quick, and we'll flip it over, and then it'll probably be time to move on to the next piece. So, bully. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it should be hit in the middle. Yeah, ask for that. Man. You need that. That's some slick lighting, man. Yeah, I can get rid of that. That is some slick decal work. Anything I need to do on the interior here? Some slats would be good. You should use some slats. In the wood? The slats in the wood. You should do that. All right. Where's that purple coming from inside here? I should really check. I should do a color check while I'm in here. Whoa. Hey there, blurry fingers. We'll have to fix that real quick. Right. Color test. Huh. I don't know where I got this purple from, friends. That one's got to be on me. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. Cool. Okay. And yeah. Clean these up for a moment. I like the flip from white to black because it helps me see all these. Like I can't see like these color bits are pretty faint, so it's kind of difficult for me to spot them because the the white background kind of bleeds my eyes out. I can't, like the lighting all blurs together for me when it's too bright. That's why I squint a lot. If you catch me squinting in the morning, that's why. But yeah, we fixed that. That was good. Let's see. Oof. All right. Well, we should be okay. We'll see if we got any. We might have a problem here, but we can fix it. We can fix that. We'll press save so we don't have any real problems. And then we got this. There we go. Snooze, you lose. Okay, so every 2 pixels is a foot. So that feels about right. Perfect. And that's assembly work. We'll leave that curve there. Nice. All right, I am plenty happy with this. Let's duplicate and see how it does. Duplicate equals free transform equals flip horizontally equals slide over. Yeah, there is a gap issue in the middle there. Nah, that's cool. We'll fix it. Interesting. Looks like I'm fixing to do some fixing. Let's give it a try. So we'll go like duplicate, merge those layers, conceal these. Almost there, stay on target. Hey RP, the lighting is looking great. Thank you. Mentat confirmed. Mentat. Hardcore, man. Fix this real quick. That's what I get for not checking my pixels. I think I just love doing this. I think I just love this this damselfly too much and don't want to leave the project yet. So I'm self-sabotaging. It's a moment of sabotage. Oh shit, we got some smooth jazz up in here. K-Y-O-T. The coyote. Smooth jazz. Yeah. You can buy this fine appliance for your kitchen today. This modular construction allows the robots to destroy your mind without you realizing it in 14 easy payments. That's right, Claire. Tune in now for subjugation. Let's go with let's go with free transform, and let's go with 100%. That should get us square. I think I should be fitting fine. Okay. And then we'll fix that. Might be a generational thing, but smooth jazz just makes me want to listen to some vaporwave. Right on, man. This is particularly Muzaki. Muzaki Shiro. What's going on with that? Boy, there's something off about that though. And now it's over. Praise. Man, I think I'm pretty cool with this guy. Yeah. No complaint. So let's get rid of the let's get rid of the black backdrop and pull in the white and see if it still sits right. Nice. I'm gonna call that guy done. Hell yeah, my G. So here's a bombard that we did already in a 3x3 space. It's like 140 feet long, according to Spelljammer's Adventures in Space. Here's your damsel. God, fucking day. These things look good. I am. Okay, so if you're making a squadron, right? A damselfly fills a 2x2 space, and a bombard. No, wrong button. Bad Kearney. Bombard fills a. I don't want to be inside his space. I want to scuttle a 3x3 space. So that fills up 5. You got 10 by. You got a 500-foot square. These ships are at 50 feet, so this is 250 by 250 feet. But you can fill up a 500 by 500 foot space with 10 squares worth of ships. So currently we have a bombard and a damselfly, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 5 squares with a ship. So you could technically have these guys like that fills up about half of your squadron. So we have a statistic. We have a mechanic that scales by tens from 5 feet to 50 feet to 500 feet. Those are the 3 scales that ships operate inside of it: the boarding deck side, the dog fighting, close combat range, and then 500-foot squares is far range combat. Like once you get past 100, once you get past 1,500 feet or 3 squares with a trebuchet, it can lob at you for basically. Well, you get a mile at disadvantage, and then beyond that, you're still at disadvantage. And if the ship sees you, you automatically miss. So you can try to track a shot and hit something 5 miles away, and your trajectory can hit it at disadvantage. But if they see it, it's literally coming at them from over a mile away. It is literally an idiom. It is so easy to avoid. So all you gotta do is, if they can see it, or if your attack roll is below their passive perception or their passive or rescanning check, they automatically see the weapon coming in, and then they can choose, without even having to spend a reaction, that they're just going to avoid being hit, and then the shot just goes on from there and flings off into forever. So you can have like a random encounter of occasionally a barrage of siege weapon fire will come traipsing across your path through wild space, but they're so small they only fit a 5-foot space while they're moving at combat speed. They're being launched at you there. So your team only has anywhere from 1 minute or 1 round to notice the incoming threat if it's in a trajectory that's matching you. So you can be flying along wild space, and then you just got hit by like 15 ballista bolts. And like, where the fuck did that come from? Well, that came from about 3 years ago in an orc war. Except that the trajectory stuff, when you're moving at 10,000 miles per hour, it takes 4 years for you to slow down from 10,000 miles per round, or 1,000 feet per square of movement, or 100 million miles per day. It takes 4 years for you to grind down eventually to a stop. Actually, it takes 1,111 days and like 168 minutes or something like that. The math is in there, but it's not that. You don't have to break it down that much. But you go for a long time, so you can see comets and stuff looping in orbits because they have years before they can catch a gravity plane of another of a planet, any planet in the system. They've got 4 years to catch something else in orbit, and if they have an orbit trajectory that has them going on a longer path than that, then there's other objects out there that these comets that have a long rotation like that are piggybacking off of and being gravity slung through. Because if you run into a gravity plane, you'll automatically pick up the gravity that object is carrying, and then if you're moving fast enough, you'll escape its gravity pool again, but you'll just continue on whatever path it's on. If you don't have enough momentum and you hit a planet's gravity field, then it's spherical. It pulls you to that planet until you landfall. If it's a ship in wild space or something else that's less than 100 miles in diameter, if it's less than 100 miles, then it has a gravity plane, not a spherical gravity pole. So if an object like an asteroid or something, if it's moving faster than your Spelljammer ship at the time, it'll just either hit you or it'll just wing through your gravity field and continue on its way. But if it hits you, then A, it can scuttle your ship, B, cause damage, and then C, it's stuck in orbit with you. So it just hangs with you until, well, if your ship got disabled because it just knocked your shit out, then cheers, Bob's your uncle. Get to work in repairing it. But otherwise, you just get debris that can accumulate with you. So while you're flying through space, you can just pick up trash as you move along, and that's how things get moved from one part of the wild space to another. It just catches wind with the wake of the gravity as you go by. You go by, an asteroid goes by, rogue planet goes by, a lithid goes by, a lunar dragon flies by. Whatever it is that you're doing, any object that has a gravity field can grab anything smaller than it and drag it with them for, well, up to 100 million miles. And now that stuff, if they ditch their orbit and they move off in a direction, that junk that moves naturally out of their gravity plane over time, it just naturally pushes out. And now it's on its own momentum, and it'll start that slowing process over 4 years. Anyway, so I'm just talking shop. So I was pushing things around like they're Hot Wheels, and it's time for us to get back to work. That was fun though. But all this stuff, again, it's the book's 100% free preview. So once it publishes on the Guild, y'all can look at all that crap. I would say a good chunk of the book is really about explaining how to make things bigger and smaller, how to scale up and down in size, so that you can operate like at a 5-foot scale all the way up to a 100 million mile scale or larger if you need to. But anyway, Bob's your uncle. Let's shrink that down a bit. Cool. All right, now we can lock this layer, and now we're on to the flying fish. So let's see, flying fish. We had the basic deck plan that we brought in, and from the Spelljammer's Adventures in Space, and it fills a 3x3 space as well. So I need to complete the wing on this, so that's what I'm going to do right now. Yeah, a lot of the book is about like movement, timing, speed, so that you can figure out how to do things like hex crawls, for instance. How fast is the moon moving around this planet? How fast is this planet moving around that star? That kind of stuff, so that when you build out a system, you'll have an easy way to track the movement of these planetary objects through your system, and how to easily grid how to grid a system using a square grid instead of, like, say, a hex. I hate hex. Hex is the bane to my system, because my system's all about scaling your squares to larger sizes. 5, 50, 500. 5,000 equals a mile. 10 miles, 100 miles, 1,000 miles, 10,000 miles, 100,000 miles, 1,000,000 miles. That's the fastest a minor helm can go per day. Then 10 million miles, and then 100 million miles, which is the maximum speed that a major helm can travel per day. And a major helm can enchant any object up to 500 feet. And a minor helm can only enchant an object up to 50 feet. But you could put a major helm on like a 25-foot space skiff and effectively jam at 100 million miles per day, it's just going to be a really small space. Like, there's nowhere for you to rest. Well, I mean, other than the spelljamming chair. I guess you can rest on that, right? But they only move up to 1 million miles per day as opposed to 100 million miles per day. They are literally 100 times slower than your normal spelljamming ship. So they clip onto and get carried by vessels, or they patrol and protect stationary locations. Like if I decide to keep doing Spelljammer stuff, then I can build out the Rock of Brawl using the scaling system for defense points if you want to siege it, or I can deal out the small scale, the fighter ship, navy of the Air Force of fighter ships that the Rock of Brawl would have on its bottom side, the underbelly where all the military stuff is. They could have full-size vessels, and they should, but they would also have, every 10 vessels, every 10 fighter craft is 50 feet, up to 50. You can put 50 feet worth of fighter craft in each 50-foot square. So if you've got a 10 by 10 fighter ship, you can put 1, 2, 3. You can have 5 of those inside of your 50-foot square. So for each one of these squares, like for this flying ship, I could literally have 10. I could have 30 fighter craft that I'd be able to I could just hang off the side like dinghies. They would literally be like 10-foot long dinghies. But if I mount a minor helm to it, now I can fly it at 100 miles per round, or 10 miles per square. So each square, once you move past a mile, you can automatically avoid weapons. So the only actual effective range of combat for ships is up to 1 mile away, and the minor helms can do 100 of those per round. So you can scale up in movement up to 10 miles per square, or you can slow down to 1 mile per square. If you're in a chase, you can go from 500 feet per round to 1,000 feet per round. 500 feet per round to 1 mile per round to 10 miles per round. And then if you have a major helm that can move faster than that, you've got that 1 mile, 10 mile, 100 mile. You've got 3 move actions you have to make to be able to ramp up to a speed that a fighter ship can't chase you. But if that fighter ship is inside your gravity field, when you ramp up speed, it just gets carried with you. So it just still attacks you because it's in orbit with you. So you can't just run away from it by speeding up. You got to knock it out of your gravity field first. Otherwise, you're just carrying an enemy around with you. Like if an enemy grabs hold of your backpack and starts stabbing you with poison needles, then you got to knock that guy off of you before you run away. Otherwise, you're taking him with you and he's still stabbing you. Same system, same thing. It's just all the damage and stuff is just 10 times bigger. So that's what the book is about. It's about scaling mechanics up like that so you can have colossal ranges and just ridiculous scale battles to be able to organize the ships into larger squadrons so that you're running troops like a 2x2 squad of spaceships all working together under the single command of fire all weapons. And so you have this barrage that does a shitload of dice of damage, or you could just round off to your nearest 10. Instead of doing 10d6 damage, why don't you do a d6 times 10 damage? That's how we calibrate. That's how we calibrated siege weapons. So you could take just one siege, you could just take, say, a mangonel does d6 times 10 damage, but 8 mangonels spread out across 5 ships that you're commanding as your fleet. You can have them fire 5d8 times 10 worth of damage with one attack by fire all weapons. But that's the only shot you can make per round with it, because the reload rate is going to be so low that it's going to take too long for all of those weapons to be reloaded for them to be able to fire again next round. You'll be able to fire it once per round, but depending on how you use your combat actions, each attack can make attacks, but they can also reload. And then your bonus action can attack, and your reaction can reload. So a first level character could attack, reload, attack again. And he might be able to reload for free if he rolls high enough, kind of like if he crits his hit by rolling 10 or above. There's the command die mechanic that you're rolling that we talk about in here. So there's a way that the higher level you get, you can be firing one or multiple catapults at the same rate of attack that your character would have in a dungeon. So it's just how many troops are you trying to coordinate at the same time. The die roll gets higher and higher for you to automatically get a free attack. Otherwise, you have to spend action economy to, hey, you're slacking. You, get over there, get that shit picked up. You're commanding your troops to reload. That's an action that you have to spend commanding them, which is kind of what the command system is built around. Scaling up troops and then using action economy to command them to perform tasks that are larger or more damaging to what your individual character can do alone. Go take on a dragon. So that's the command system at whole. And if I stay on the DM's Guild, then I'll be building out the book for how to command small squads and armies, so that you can group up a bunch of hirelings or followers or zealots or summon creatures and literally say, hey, go attack that dragon. That's the playtest that we did for the initial draft of that mechanics. We used Greenest in Flames from Horde of the Dragon Queen, when a dragon's attacking the town and you're supposed to do something about it, but you're first level, so the adventurer wants you to run and hide. But we very much enjoyed rallying all the troops from the Citadel together and attack the dragon on our own terms. Like, that was ridiculous tears of fun. I'm gonna actually erase that. Erase some of that, because I think I want to push this out the middle. So I can build that, and I could do the same thing with that as I'm doing with Light as Araxis, in that I build alternate challenges to change the scope of the adventure, so that your characters are in charge of a platoon and you're attacking dragons or squads of draconians. Like, for example, I think at 7th level, you're supposed to go visit a gnomish inventor and her lab home, like her, she lives in a shoe or whatever. So it's being sieged by I want to say like 40 or 50 kobold soldiers or something like that. I don't remember exactly when I read through it the first time, but basically there's like this 200-foot structure that has robot sentries that are protecting it from the kobolds, and you're supposed to go in there and take some pot shots here and there at some of the kobolds, and at some point the DM arbitrarily decides that the kobolds have had too much and they're going to run away, and then the rest of the story can happen. But with this system, if we were to do that, the DM would have control of the squad of, say, 50 kobolds, filling anywhere from 1 to 5 squares at the 50-foot scale. And then you've got the robot sentries that are protecting the laboratory. The laboratory itself is a citadel that has automatic defenses. It has a flamethrower and like a bolt spitter and stuff like that. So you build that out as a 2x2 squad filling 50-foot squares. And then you've got another square, it's a 50-foot squadron or squad of robot sentinels. So now you've got a defense point that can't move, that occupies 1, 2, 3, 4 squares, and then you've got the robot sentries, which occupy 1 square. You've got 5 squares worth of troops, versus the kobolds. The 50 kobolds could break up into 5 units of 10 each, or a single unit of 50 stacked like a phalanx deep. So you can organize them differently. If you have just one squad with 50 people in it, every time the squad takes damage, you can either damage the squad or you can just get rid of a troop. And so if you only have 10 troops as like a phalanx, like as a wall, but there's like 40 feet of nothing behind them, they're just a strip. Every time a troop takes damage, either they die or the entire squadron goes down. And every time you have to pluck one of those troops off the front line, it goes from doing, say, 10d8 damage with long swords to 98 to 88 to 78, down to a single soldier in a 5x5 square doing 1d8 damage when he attacks. So and then you use these command mechanics for your character to control them, like to join the squad and like ride it like it's a mount. So you create these 3x3 squadrons of like 2,500 troops that you stack up like in a 500-foot space, and your character's in the middle of it, facing Lord Soth, or like say the Flying Citadel, which takes up a 500-foot space. So you've got your army at 12th level trying to attack the Flying Fortress, and the adventure is now let's punch our army brigade through this ruined city, and if we can fight off all the bad guys, we take control of the city, and the Citadel has to run away. If we fail, we can zoom in with a tactical squad, XCOM style, and make a run to attack the Citadel. Our whole army is going to fall, but we can zoom in to a smaller scale and have our team creep through and then continue the adventure as written if you fail. Like the adventure that they give us as a book is your fail state, but we will offer you a success state where your army is kicking the fuck out of Takhisis' army. And so at the end of the campaign at 11th level, you've driven her out of Solamnia. Now we could potentially talk about expanding to the rest of the map that we provided at the 100-mile scale, break it up into a grid. And now, well, Solamnia fills a 2x3 space, so that's a 3x3 kingdom. So surrounding territory, it's starting to eat up in its defense zone. Where's the next area on the map of Krynn that Takhisis is causing trouble? Let's roll our army, Solamnia, over there and start rescuing those people from the Horde of Evil. Like that could be your campaign, which is the tools that I'm offering. But it's just a question of, do I want to stay on the DM's Guild or not? So, it's like, I don't know, man. There's so much shit I could do with this. And it's all inspired by the adventures that Wizards of the Coast produced. So I'm having a real debate of, do I stay true to the content and just rebuild these adventures that everyone already owns to play the way that I'd like them, the way that I'd like to DM them. Basically, this is how Phil DMs, and here's the tool, like Phil's DMing style toolkit is what I'm trying to build here. And if I build them that way and I use the mechanics from these command books, then I feel like I have to put them on the DM's Guild. But I don't know, maybe I can make them generic and then like refer to them. Like this isn't published on the DM's Guild, but if you own Descent into Avernus, here's how these rules translate. Maybe I could do that. I don't know. I'll think about it. I think, well, this is Spelljammer, so no matter what, this is going to end up on the DM's Guild, and it's all about Liza Zaraxis. So I am content with this going on the DM's Guild. And the Eberron adventure that I'm writing, it's an Eberron adventure, which is IP specific. It's appropriate that I put that on the DM's Guild. Martial powers, that's a question. I think by the time I'm finished with this book and the Eberron book, and I start getting serious about finishing martial powers, I think by then we'll know what the industry is actually doing, and I'll know if I should publish, if it's smart for me to publish on the DM's Guild or not, and then I can take the next step from there. But the tap on tap burn stuff, that's pretty much, I mean, it's all color mana stuff anyway. So if I'm going to do anything with it, it would have had to have been fan content on my Patreon anyway. See, that's the thing. Like I can produce these books and then put them on my Patreon and no one will see them. Or I can put them on the DM's Guild and make them 100% free for you to view, and then start pumping out content on my Patreon channel. It's like, hey, you can see the core mechanics on DM's Guild where honorably it belongs, but all the stuff that I'm doing for it you can find here on my Patreon and support me. I don't know, maybe that could work. I don't know. It's such a pickle now. It's so stupid. So I'm honestly I'm committed with these projects, and I'm committed for the next couple months. So it doesn't really matter what's going on for me yet, and that should give us plenty of time to figure out what's actually going on, so that I know what's the right choice to make. So, and I'll ask around and get some opinion from my betters. There's a lot of folks on the DM's Guild that do both DM's Guild stuff and independent stuff, even like different game systems. So those would be the people for me to really lay out what my plans were and what my plans are moving forward. So I don't have to make a choice yet. I think honestly I'm happy about that. Yeah, it's not bad. It's not great. It's not bad. So let's make it better. Let's just make it better. Just like that. No. How about we get rid of that grid for a little bit, huh? Hey, buddy. Hey, come on. Fun. Where'd my music go? Thank you. This song I am almost tired of. I am getting to the point that if this was, if it was, hold on. Just like that. Oh my god, this song's sleepy too. I probably do. Where you at? Smooth jazz fill. Might be a generational thing. I didn't see that. That's funny. There's actually there's a radio station in Phoenix. It's called the Coyote, KYOT. So that's a true fact. I used to run a political fundraising call center in Phoenix. I would teach people how to speak a script instead of reading it out loud, like how to read ahead. I actually had speech therapy when I was a little kid. I had trouble with S's and TH's of all things. When I was like 5. So their solution was to put me in what was it? Speech coaching. They call it speech coaching. And so when the time that us couple kids would go do that, for me was because I was in kindergarten or whatever. When the teacher was reading, like was reading to the kids, like we would all sit around and the teacher would read, and we'd all be sitting on the floor or whatever. But while that was going on in the classroom, they said, Phil, it's time for you to go to speech class. And so I'd go to speech class, and for us to learn how to fix the sound of the syllables we were trying, that we hadn't learned how to make properly. The process of teaching us how to speak those syllables was to have us read. So while all the kids in my class were being read to and they were seeing they're fucking with each other or whatever, I had the attention of a teacher that was teaching me how to speak more naturally from words that I'm reading in real time. So she was teaching me at 5 how to be able to flow through script into my mind, out of my mouth, and sound accurate, just like a news reporter would do. I knew girls that, yes, it was only girls that in Mizzou, University of Missouri, Columbia, they have a journalism school there, but actually it's a lot of weather school and news broadcasting education. So these gals were, holding the microphone or whatever, being a correspondent. That was the gig that they were training in college to get. They were getting a college degree credential, and they were getting on-screen, basically like media puppet. They were learning to be media puppets. So they'd say, "Hey Phil, how does this look? How does this sound?" Because I was really good at that shit. It's just I wasn't there for that. I was there for I took bowling twice. I was just there to fuck around. It was a complete waste of money, but I can't drive, and I literally lived on a ranch in the middle of nowhere in Missouri, tending horse shit. And then being picked up by a school bus that took like 40 minutes for me to get to class. It was bullshit. I had a complete bullshit childhood. So I went to college not because I actually wanted to learn something, just because I wanted to get the fuck away. So that's so I went to university, which had a campus and had dorms, and I got to feel like what it's like to be able to go to the store without having to ask somebody for a fucking ride in 1993 when it's either a cab or you're tossing a thumb. Like, my childhood was rough because I couldn't drive. So I was pretty bitter about it for a really long time, like super pissed. I couldn't even ride horses. The problem with horses is that once a human is on their back, they kind of like, "Okay, you're in charge, buddy. What do you want to do?" And they work almost entirely off of emotions. So if you're not sure about where you're going, the horse isn't sure about where you think you're going. And it's like, I'm not going to break my leg fucking around with you on my back. So you got to make a decision here. And the only decision I had was get off the damn horse. I could get bridled and dragged along by somebody else. And it's like, by the time I really wanted to get involved in horses, the rest of my family was able to just gallop up and run independently. It's like, and I would never be able to do that. So who the hell was going to lead me around by a leash? Like, as a little kid, it would have been fine. But by the time we got into horses, I was 10. And I was almost out of the little kid stage. And I was into, why do I have to be dragged along? So it was a pretty bitter life experience for me. But it led me to the university, which led me into all sorts of really unusual circumstances. But yeah, that's where that smooth jazz thing came from. I got really good at being able to reel on at a script, which is how I got the gig of training people at that office to read scripts, like political donation scripts. Like, we really appreciate that you were willing to donate $10,000 to this horrible person last year. He's asking for $20,000 this year. Is there anything you could possibly do to find in yourself that you would be able to generate that kind of money for us in the next 5 to 7 days and send that and let us use your credit card right now? And and if they said no, then we had a logic path that we would follow down. If yes, say this. If no, say that. And we'd have a computer that would toggle us from screen to screen, and we had an auto dialer that would just feed us these whales that would just donate anywhere from $500 to $50,000 a pop if you called them and act nicely about it. So I was the guy that trained people to sound as natural as possible to get them feel like that they're actually not just being roboted at. They appreciate that. They were probably going to give up the money anyway, but if you talk to them, like if you have the ability to use talking points and actually talk to them like a real person, they actually think that they spent good money to get you there, so they're kind of impressed that they spent the money anyway. So we made a fucking killing. It was great. Salty horse riding. True that, my friend. It's I had a weird childhood. It was very it was all over the place. So yeah, I went to college. I didn't have any real plan. I just figured I could coast along for a couple years on just accumulating electives to knock that aspect of whatever fine arts degree I would end up having. The art classes bored me for the most part, but there were some nuggets I was able to extract from it. Like looking back at it, and hashing over the class in my mind. It's like, actually, you know, I kind of learned this and that, and I can't think of any specific examples right now, but I'm pretty sure I talked about it a couple weeks ago. So like maybe around episode 34, I think I was talking about lighting. I think the class is on lighting by looking at statues and stuff. That may have been in the Eberron stream. They're probably in the Eberron stream talking about statues. That kind of makes sense with the cemetery. You know, I can't reference that one offhand. Sorry. But yeah, by the time I ran out of, like, I have to start getting serious about my degree, I'm like, fuck it. I'm just going to go to culinary school. So I went back to St. Louis. They got their Forest Park Community College has a really, really good culinary school. And I looked just like I do now, beard, long hair, didn't want to compromise on it. The teachers hated me. They're like, you're just a fucking trope. Like, you're a trope. Get out of here. They didn't respect me at all. And that's when I found there's actually a lot of politics involved in the titles and stuff that you get as a chef. It's all very ego driven, very similar to the fashion industry, I found out. My gal went to school for fashion design and ended up backing out of it because of the politics, the nasty, ugly politics. It doesn't matter how right you are or how good your design work is, what your efforts are. If you don't grease the right palms, or be willing to make the right personal compromises, you don't get anywhere. So she's like, I'm out. So we both had that common experience together of being disillusioned by the system that we were paying to get into, and I'm like, fuck it. And so I quit and got a job at it's called the Pasta Factory. In my opinion, was the best Italian restaurant in town. So I was like, I think you're the best restaurant in town. I've got experience. I haven't finished the degree, but I've got 3 semesters of culinary experience. So I know how to run a recipe. I know how to chop up vegetables to be equi-sized. I know protocols. I took like 30 hours of management classes, so I know all the coding. I know all the inspection rules, and I know how to look up and update them. I know how to get my license renewed. I know all this crap. Here's my license. Like, well, shit. Okay, you're hired. So I basically made cheesecakes and pasta sauce for like 4 years, and until we moved to Arizona. It was awesome. Fucking job of my life, man. Job of my life. It was like 6 till 2. And then I was free. So I would get out of work and have a full day of business behind me before whatever gal I was dating in college got done with her classes, so I could hike down to the campus and catch her. And look at me, I'm a full employed guy with a $10 per hour salary, and that was honestly, that and being in shape from walking all the time because I couldn't drive was all it really took for me to be able to get a date with pretty much anybody I wanted. So the power of money, it is ridiculous. Hey, want me to buy a pack of beer? Come over. You're having a barbecue, right? Oh my God, Phil, that'd be amazing. Awesome. When's the next one? Very easy to get into the potlucks. Oh my God, you have money? Yeah, that's awesome. Show up. Because that's how college works. We're all freaking broke, and if we could barter, we'll barter what we need to barter to get what we need. Because that's college. That stuff was fun, man. I lived in a tree for a while because I was between apartment complex contracts, and there was this particularly large willow tree on campus that I had already been using often to fall asleep in. Because I didn't want to walk home because of, on foot. So I might have 2 or 3 hour gaps in my schedule. So I would just climb a tree and sleep in it for a while. And when I was between apartments, I just rented a storage space for all the furniture I wanted to keep my books and shit. And it was the summertime anyway, so it didn't really matter. So I just had a backpack and I just sleep in the tree. Never got caught. I actually built a hammock up in there for a while. It was great. That was back in the days when I had 0 responsibilities, and if I had an intuition or an impulse to do something, I did it without questioning, like immediately. Like if my intuition told me to quit my job and start something else, I would do it immediately. Like, I'm out, I don't even know why, and then I'd find a better gig. Like, oh, I had to free up some space to find this job. That's awesome. I'd wander down a street I'd never been before, and then I would end up at a birthday party at a friend where I never knew where they lived, but 40 of my friends are there. Like, Phil, how the fuck did you find out about this? It's just... I'm like, oh, yeah. Because that's what Phil's did. It was amazing. My world was like, it was just, oh my god. It was crazy. It was an insane world. Like, literally anything could happen. It was bizarre. That was the time in my life when I got hit by that truck crossing the highway, because I didn't see it. So it hit me and it threw me 100 feet into a ditch and cracked my skull open. And I lost 2 pints of blood by an ambulance. I think I talked about this before. I don't want to bore you, but yeah. So I'll just be brief about it. Yeah, so I got hit by a truck. It was a sky blue truck. It was coming down a hill at dusk, out of the sun. I had no chance of seeing it. My girlfriend saw it, and she's like, Phil? And that's the only reason I stopped. The only reason I stopped is to say, Phil? She's like, oh, Phil? I'm like, she sounds afraid. What's going on? So I literally stopped and turned, what's up, babe? Bang! I got hit by a truck because I stopped in front of him. If I had just kept walking, I would have been fine. But she's like, hey, and I'm like, oh, you're important to me. Why? What are you going to protect? And I blacked out as soon as it hit me. It hit me. I got thrown up on the hood. I tore off one of his windshield wipers. Brand new truck. I took off his windshield wiper immediately. And then he's skidding on the brakes. He laid down 200 feet of track. And they tell me about halfway through that skid is when I got thrown off of the hood. And then I got launched into a ditch between the 2 sides of the highway. And there was an ambulance that was heading this way. And it saw this happen. And they had gone out on a heart attack. But it was actually just indigestion, so they didn't have anybody in their carriage. So when they saw me get hit by that truck, they just pulled over, got out, and just started cutting my clothes off and got a stretcher. And by the time I woke up, they were lifting me up on the stretcher and put me on it and put me into the ambulance. And I had a giant gash in the back of my head that got ripped open, and there was just blood pouring out. My girl's screaming, and like I woke up and there was like nothingness in my head. There was nothing there. It was completely empty, like I was a baby. I don't even know what the fuck I'm looking at right now. And then like reality started to snap in after I became aware I was a person again. And I'm like, oh hey, I can move my toes. They're like, great, don't do anything. I'm like, okay, I'll just sit here. And it was fun watching thoughts float through my head because I didn't have any. So like I hear a sound, it's like, that's a familiar sound. And then I'd have a memory and it's like, oh, that's traffic. I get that. I know what that is. And like, it's just, oh man, it was incredible. I don't recommend people drop themselves on a head from great heights, but sometimes if it happens, it's a pretty damn good ride for about 18 months while your system recalibrates. So that was an amazing time in my life. Just insane. Like literally it was insane. Stick around, I got a lot of stories like that. I'll probably get through them all eventually. You know, as they're relevant. I'm gonna end up being that old geezer in the chair. It's like, oh, you want to know how I lost this leg, huh? Let me pipe him up. Let me tell you a story. Just big fish, everybody around me. Be that old guy that kids just can't stop climbing around. Kids on bikes just drive up to me like, and I got a soccer ball the other day, and it's like, hey kid, I don't even know where you came from, and he like points off like randomly to some distant house. And I'm like, you came over here to tell me that? And he's like, I'm like, well, I hope you love your soccer ball. And he's like, okay, and then he like rides off. I'm like, this is my life, and it's ending one goddamn moment at a time. Duplicate the layer. Fucking flip. Horizontal. Wow! The F makes it go full screen. The V makes me move the object. So sometimes my F and V get kind of futzed up. Let's put our grid back in place. There. Yeah. I think that looks pretty goddamn good. What else is going on in the illustration I might need, I need to pay attention to? Ooh, there's those little wings that come off of it separately. Oh, I did build it right. Oh, I built it wrong. Oh, interesting. Okay, well, life is just a dream. Surprise highway truck. Hell yeah. As someone with genetically fragile bones, that truck would have literally killed me instantly. Well, I had no right surviving either, so cheers, buddy. But you wouldn't have walked out in front of it in the first place, so I mean, life's a great equalizer, right? We're all screwed up. Let's see, what can I do? I can build, I guess I could build those little fronds. Let's use 2 pixels. Cool, let's do that. Duplicate. Duplicado. Flip horizontal. Push it on down the board. Perfect. Question is, I've been filling these things in with black the whole time. It's like that ribbing effort I just made is kind of stupid and worthless. Unless I... I'm going to black them in. But I'm going to leave them in a separate... I'm going to leave them in a separate space so that I can return to transparency anytime I want. Oh, my shoulder is still releasing that knot of emotion that's been locked inside of me for God knows how long. So it's been, it was spooling out in me heavy last night. Oh my God, it was insane. Like I was stumbling around like, ah, like a weird broken pitch, and I don't know what the hell it was, but whatever tension that got released in me was on fire, and it just burned through my body. And there was a bunch of, I won't bore you with the specific details right now, but there was weird childhood memories that I had forgotten about that were being released like demons in my heart, and it freed me of some interesting space. So that was pretty cool. I feel a lot better about me today than perhaps I did yesterday, and that is a wonderful gift. But it's weird. This massage therapist I met after I got hit by that truck, I ended up dating her for a while, and she, there's 2 things interesting about her. One was she's a damn good massage therapist, and number 2, she swears by it that her home and her life was infested with pixies, because I would literally, like something would be on her counter, and I would turn back and it'd fucking be gone. And it would be gone for days, and it would come back in a different place. Like, it's pixies. You can't do anything about it. It's like, all I can just do is just like let it go and don't shit talk them. I'm like, cool. I'm honored to be in your presence. She's like, oh yeah, they like that. I'm like, okay, she was a cool chick. I'll give you that. And the other thing about her was she was one hell of a massage therapist. She was quite the student of the anatomy, and she was really smart. She was talking about how emotions get trapped inside of the muscles of the body. So the tension that you feel is your body holding on to guilt or different emotions that you aren't ready to process and remember, or like trauma you're not ready to remember yet. Your body hides it inside of a muscle so that your movement can remind you of the thing you haven't processed yet, but doesn't actually let you process it. Fucked up shit. But so she was talking about how to dive into your space to find where the tension is, not to get rid of the knot, but to get rid of the suffering that the knot holds. It's like, oh man, that shit's intense. I ate that crap up. So that was fun. But yeah, I've been living that for a while now. Like I was aware of it. Why are you not? Oh, you're not balanced because I didn't do it right. That's why, Pinky. Okay, so is this lined up properly? Why is this not lined up properly? Huh. Oh, because it's horribly skewed. I'm going to give myself... it's 8:40. I'm going to give myself another 20 minutes. I'm going to do... I see. Neither one of them fits properly. Well, screw you with this. We'll get there. This one's super guilty. Let's fix that monkey. There. I think I have an odd number. I think that I think this thing is like an odd number wide because the pixels keep falling weird on it, but I'm not necessarily sure. It's a consistent thing that I seem to be encountering with this piece. So I don't necessarily want to redraw all of them. It's a very minimal problem, but I see it crop up occasionally. That's why I chip at the edges of stuff to try to conceal where it's obvious. You guys may or may not have caught on to that. You can go back and look for them. But I do kind of just stare at it. So that's kind of the giveaway. And I can swear there's a line. I can swear there's a line here. Yeah, there was a line there. Like super faint lines. I can see them. Oh, God, I'm an idiot. Oh well, fuck it. Whatever. I did it wrong. Just keep with it. I'm on the wrong layer to be affecting the silhouette of the whole of the ship. This is the fin layer of the ship. No relation. Fixed? Not quite. Well, I didn't get through 2 or 3 of them like I had hoped I would. That damselfly kind of slowed me down, and of course I've been ranting like a madman for 2 hours, so that always kind of slows production a bit. But we'll keep swinging. We'll do this again tomorrow, and the next day, and the next day until it's done, because that's how you do. That's trying to build a business. So, yay! That looks pretty cool. So we got the silhouette. I'm finally content with the silhouette. We still have the actual frame of the wings intact. So when we build out the color on the thing, we can do it right. So we can fold that into here. All right, get that out of the way, and oh, I didn't keep the. No, I kept all the decks. Oh, wait. No. Hold on, wait. No, something feels wrong. Doink, doink. He's got one little gun. Like they've got four ballistas just jammed onto the lamprey. And like all these others just like, yeah, just one. Boop, 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 whatever. It's like, what? There's no rhyme or reason whatsoever as to why things are built the way they were. Even back, I mean, this is a complaint I had about second edition too. Because they're just using the same stupid floor plans they did from 1992 or whatever. It's the same crap. They just watered it down for 5th edition. But it blows my freaking mind, man. Well, that's kind of cool. That's a good angle. I like that. What is this space garbage? Who are you? Oh, you're a person, and you're another. Oh, you're a Hadozi. I see. Hadozi raiding team. Right. While they still had when the yeet was still in. No more yeets for you, my friends. Yeets are out. But it's cool. It's got a bluish going on there. The lighting on this is goofballs. Got a lot of blue in this ship. And I bet that metal's like a bronze or something, right? Or ribbon. And then this is that same blue. I love the lighting on that. Let's use, we can use this one probably. Blue and yeah, there's that metal. See how the RGB does here? See? It's a common theme you see in color painting, especially in this book, that they're using the shadow is mirroring the. They pick a point on the grayscale and then they reflect over it for highlights and shadow. So that's pretty cool. I like how they do that. So we use the shadow as our base, and then we add in the highlights with the lighting that they provide for us. So B-Dub. And I don't know, we could probably be cheeky and do something like that. Yes, we could. And in fact, I could probably take the entire thing and merge it down and highlight that and do like that. Yes, I can. Oops, not like that. It's gotta be like that. Yep, that way you keep all the weird bits off. Where are we with this? Bing, bing. That's all good. Where's our ship floor plan? Bloop. There we are. That is not the ship floor plan that I need, my friend. So let's go. Let's go find our ship floor plan. Oh, hey, while I'm here, like and subscribe. Follow if you haven't. And check out some content. My other playlists. Hours and subscribers are what I need right now. Demons in my heart would be awesome. Oh my god, you're right. That would be a great album earlier. I'd paint that. That's kind of like that role-playing game we were talking about, The Exorcists going into people's souls. I wanted to be at DMsGuild. No, I wanted to be at D&D Beyond. And we're going to sources, Spelljammer, Flying Ship. There you, yeah, you got a tail gun. Very, very good. Let's see if that imports for me. Let's open. No. Let's open image in a new tab. I'll grab a snipping tool. This is the way. Very good. Very good, very good, very good. Very, 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 very good. Meow. Yeah. As is that. Okay, so let's do, let's scoot this guy over. Those wings line up pretty well. I'm pretty happy about that. So yeah, get out of the way. Get out of my life. Okay, now we know how to build. Okay, alright, alright, okay, alright. Nice. Hold on. Oh, well, let's start at the beginning. We're almost out of time. So let's see. Let's start thinking about the future, shall we? My heart is telling me that tomorrow we are going to continue Eberron. Graveyard map. My heart is also telling me that it's interested in being done with that painting. So that'll be Friday morning, and then I'll stream again Saturday morning in about 36 hours. Yeah, 36 hours. I'll be back on stream for Saturday morning. 12 hours, what is it, 9 o'clock, 12 hours, 9 hours from now, I'll be back on doing Eberron Cemetery map. And then I'll be MIA Friday night, as it is family time. Like, I don't have to be exact, but again, every 2 pixels is a foot. So it's not very difficult for me to be able to line things up. This is just drafting 101, which was one of my favorite classes ever. Love doing drafting. Was horrible with CAD machinery. It was so fucking difficult for me to see that light blue line. It was not a good industry match for me, but I certainly loved building three-dimensional, like framing. What's the word I want to use? Drawing things in 2 dimensions, drawing 3-dimensional objects at different angles in 2 dimensions, perspective and stuff like that. Love doing that work. Some of my favorite stuff. So that absolutely paid me in spades when I got into D&D. My path to art was, it started with, oh, that deck plan is a little bit bigger than mine, ain't it? Do tell. Let's take a look at you. Hold on. Huh. There's another ship I built wrong. You know what? It's nice to find out so early. Huh. Well, now I'm glad I have my wings all broken up like they are. That'll make it. That'll make this a lot easier and less painful for me to just completely eat crow with. So let's. I guess we fix it. Goddamn, Kearney. All right, let's do this. Okay, that explains why there's that inconsistency there, because I was drawing on the wrong deck. Oh, well, whatever. Phil, you're the worst. I know. Well, clearly we have to check all our deck plans again. Okay. Huh. Curve out, Kearney. Thank you. when I'm doing token symmetry like this, a trick I can use is that. So when I flip this, wait, hold on. Free transform. When I flip it, the frame goes all the way out to here. So when I flip this horizontal, until I'm on point, well, maybe I should duplicate the layer first. Oh my god, I'm a wreck today. Duplicate. Free transform. See? Perfect. Perfect. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. Merge those down like a clown. What is this? Sounds like I'm done for the day. 8:58. So there, we fixed it. Fixed our stupid boat. Now actually, looks pretty cool. Worth the effort. Happy to have done. Let's get this clown town out of the way. Let's duplicate that group and then merge that group down and then hide the one behind it and grab this guy again and nope. Let's do that and then destroy. That. Next up. Bloop. There. Conceal. Back on path. Oh, look how insufficient that is now. There. Now everything in the world makes so much more sense. Destroy that. Bloop. Oh, we got some fidgety bits that survived the process. Let's destroy. Destroy! Oh god, man, I would do this. I could seriously do this for like another 8 hours. This is just good lighthearted doodling here. It's actually starting getting intimidated by the creature tokens that we were doing because I had such a hard time with the solar dragon that it actually intimidated me a little bit. So I ran away and started doing ship tokens instead. So I need to get this will come to an end soon, and I have to brave up and start doing my job and get this shit done. But for now, we can grab we can make this happen. Yeah, we're just gonna let this hang. And that fin, it's so fun. All right, this is where we're stopping for the day. And thanks a lot for being here. Like, subscribe. I do this virtually every day at varying amounts of hours. The only day I really actually expect to be out is Sundays. So you can catch me 6 out of 7 days of the week. Check out my stuff down below. And I'll see you. I'll see y'all in about 9 hours. So catch you guys later. Thanks a lot for being here. Really appreciate it.